blessed day, everyone. Again, this is Teacher June. Welcome to my channel. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos to come. In our previous tutorial video, we have learned how to determine whether the two triangles are congruent or not based on triangle congruence postulates. This time, I will be giving you 10 pairs of triangles and we are going to determine whether these pairs of triangles are congruent based on the postulates that we have learned. But before that, let us have a brief recap on triangle congruence postulates. Triangle congruence postulates are SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS theorem, and HL. So meaning these 5 triangle congruence postulates or theorem will be used in determining whether two triangles are congruent or not. Okay, so ang gagawin po natin, ipa-flash ko po yung pairs of triangles and if you want to answer it by your own, pwede nyo siyang i-pause so that you will have time to answer and to inspect which postulates is used. Here are the first 4 pairs. Name the postulate and tell which of the triangles are congruent. Ibig sabihin, in each pair of triangles, you have to name or identify the postulate and tell which of these triangles or which of these pairs of triangles are congruent. Okay, so this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So these are the first 4 pairs. Okay, so these are another 4 pairs of triangles. We have number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. And last slide, we have number 9. This is number 9 here. And this one is number 10. Okay, so this time, let us answer this together. Name the postulate and tell which of the triangles are congruent. The first thing that we need to do is to inspect whether how many pairs of congruent parts are marked, meaning yung mga parts na may tick marks, for us to be able to identify the postulate. On number 1, we have 2 pairs of sides and 1 pair of angles. So we have side, angle, side. On the second triangle, we have side, angle, side. So obviously, this is for SAS congruence postulate. Question, do we have SAS congruence postulate? Yes. So therefore, we can say that these 2 triangles here are congruent. How about in number 2? There are 3 pairs of corresponding parts that are marked. To be specific, there are 3 pairs of corresponding sides that are marked. So we have side, side, side. On the second triangle, side, 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 or SSS congruence postulate. Therefore, we can say that the 2 triangles are congruent. Next is number 3. Let us identify the 3 pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. We have 2 pairs of angles and 1 pair of sides. Okay, so let us see. We have angle, side, angle. On the second triangle, we have angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle, or ASA. So therefore, we can say that these 2 triangles here are congruent based on ASA congruence postulate. Okay, so let's proceed to number 4. In number 4, there are three pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. What are those? We have side, side, angle, or simply angle, side, side. On the second triangle, we have side, side, angle. So this is under SSA. But the question is there such thing as SSA congruence postulate? Let us have a brief recall on triangle congruence postulates and theorem. We have SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS, and HL. So there is no such thing as SSA congruence postulate, meaning we will not be able to tell whether these two triangles here are congruent because, as I have said, there is no such thing as SSA congruence postulate. And the only way we can tell that these two triangles are congruent is when all corresponding parts are marked congruent. Ibig sabihin, masasabi lang natin na yung dalawang triangles na to are really congruent kung lahat ng corresponding parts niya ay merong tick marks saying that they are congruent. But then, Paul, we only have three pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. So meaning there is not or there is no enough information to tell whether the two triangles are congruent or not. Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. Number 5. As we can see in number 5, we have two pairs of sides that are marked congruent. As we can see, these angles here, these opposite angles here, are actually vertical angles, meaning these two angles here are formed by two intersecting line segments, and these are vertical angles. There are three pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. Let us see what are those parts. Side, angle, side. On the second triangle, we have side, angle, side, or SAS. So therefore, we can say that the two triangles are congruent based on SAS congruence postulate. Okay, let's proceed to the next one, number 6. We only have two pairs of corresponding sides that are marked congruent. Just like in number 5, we need to identify the third corresponding parts that are obviously congruent. These angles here are also vertical angles. They are formed by intersecting segments. And according to vertical angle theorem, these two angles here are congruent. So in this case, we have three pairs of corresponding parts that are now marked congruent. What are those? Side, angle, side. On the second triangle, we have side, angle, side, or SAS. Therefore, we can say that these two triangles here are congruent based on SAS congruence postulate. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. In this pair of triangles, we have two pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. We have side and angle. But as we can see, this part here is a reflexive side, meaning this is a shared side. This is part of the first triangle, and this is also part of the second triangle. So we can also mark this one congruent as the third pair of parts that should be marked congruent. Let us see if what are these parts that are marked congruent. We have side, side, angle. On the second triangle, we have side, side, angle. Again, this is SSA. And we know that there is no such thing as SSA congruence postulate. Therefore, we cannot say or we cannot conclude that these two triangles here are congruent because there is no enough information that would tell us that really the two triangles are congruent. The only way for us to be able to conclude that these two triangles here are congruent is when all the corresponding parts are marked congruent. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. As we can see, there are three pairs of corresponding parts that are marked congruent. What are those parts? We have angle, angle, side. On the second triangle, we have angle, angle, side, or AAS. Do we have AAS congruence postulate or theorem? Yes. Therefore, we can say that these two triangles are congruent. Okay, so we are down to our last two pairs of triangles. Number 9, we have these two triangles here. Obviously, we can say that these two triangles here are right triangles. How did we know that the two triangles are right triangles? Because of these symbols here. This angle here is 90 degrees, and this angle here is also 90 degrees. So meaning these two triangles are right angles. And we know for a fact that there is this triangle congruence postulate specifically used for right triangles, and that is HL. Let us see if really hypotenuse and leg are marked congruent. On the first triangle, we have hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and one leg. Hypotenuse, leg. On the second triangle, hypotenuse and leg, or HL. So therefore, we can say that the two triangles are congruent based on HL congruence postulate. Okay, so let's proceed to our last pair of triangles. Number 10, as we can see, there are three pairs of corresponding parts are marked congruent. Specifically, there are three pairs of corresponding angles that are marked congruent. So we have angle, angle, angle. On the other triangle, we have angle, 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 or A. Now the question is there an AAA congruence postulate? There is none. So meaning, since there is no such thing as AAA congruence postulate, we cannot conclude whether the two triangles are congruent or not. Just like in our two triangles in the previous slides, the only way we can tell that the two triangles are congruent is when all the corresponding parts are marked congruent. Ibig sabihin, para lang natin masabi na yung dalawang triangles na to are congruent, kailangan lahat ng corresponding parts niya are marked congruent or may tick marks dapat lahat. Pero in this case, the only pair of parts that are marked congruent are the three angles. That is not enough information for us to conclude that the two triangles are congruent. Okay, so we are done with our 10 pairs of triangles. As I have said a while ago, pwede ninyo siyang sagutan before we started answering this one. So, para dun sa mga nagsagot, you can comment down your scores. I want to know whether you have learned something about triangle congruence postulates. Okay, so that will be all for today. Again, God bless everyone. and good day.